Can we move on to a sign that was put at an Auckland University, a part of the University of Auckland, and that just said this space is for Māori and Pacifica students. Erica, I'd like your thoughts on this, because your Deputy Prime Minister, your fellow Cabinet colleague, has come out and said that this is comparable to the KKK. Is it?
Oh, look, my view on this, and excuse me holding my ear, I'm having some technical difficulties. And by the way, you can call me Erica. Look, my view on this is the problem is not with the Māori space at Auckland University. The problem is with the fact that there's not enough Māori to fill it, quite frankly.
Look, whether you like them or hate them, it's a great answer in a political sense, the way to spin it back to what she wants to talk about. And she does denounce it as well as we go along. I'm just saying it was slick, Chewy. That's all I'm saying. That spin was slick.
I am very impressed with that.
And actually, Willie agrees with her.
Hangers last year, so that is a great answer.
Yeah, no, it's a slick answer.
With the Māori space at Auckland University, the problem is with the fact that there's not enough Māori to fill it, quite frankly. 20% of our young Māori are at curriculum for mathematics by the time they leave intermediate school. And that is not good enough. That's why we are focused on a knowledge-rich curriculum, the right teaching practices like structured literacy, structured mathematics, to make sure our young Māori students are at curriculum by the time they leave intermediate. They're going on to get NCEA, and guess what? Being able to go to Auckland University. I mean, if we're going to be talking about anything, that is my job, that's my passion, to make sure young Māori students are succeeding at school and going on to live the life they want. And if that's going to Auckland University, fantastic.
You can just understand, Chewy, that there'll be these members of Cabinet going, are you serious? They fucking said that? And we're going to have to defend it because they're part of our coalition. And Christopher, Mr. Luxon, my Prime Minister, can you please pull them in? And again, I mean, she didn't denounce it then, but she made it pretty clear that it was pointless bullshit conversation and she didn't want to talk about it. So I give her a pass on that answer, Chewy. Maybe I would like to have seen her denounce it as well, but that was about as good as you can get, I expect, from a coalition partner to a couple of racists.
She said some absolute clanger stuff in the run-up to the elections. I don't think much of her as a minister. I worry about a lot of the things that she'll do with her education portfolio. But what we just saw there was pretty good.
Yeah. I think the answer is, from now on, every time she does an interview, even if it's face-to-face, she should just do this. This is obviously keeping some of the brain juice inside her head to give her the good answer. Something's not leaking out. I jest, Erica. I jest. Let's keep going.
But do you agree with two of your Cabinet colleagues, both David Seymour and Winston Peters, that this is racial segregation?
Oh, look, I think that the key here is that those spaces have always been there. They were there when I was there. And I'm not sure that that is racial segregation, because I've been in those spaces myself back in the day. I mean, they were there 30 years ago. So look, I know that, not a lot of us have had time to look at the comments that the other two party leaders have made, but I will go back to what I said, is we are failing young Māori students. And if we should be talking about anything on this show, that's it, because that's the travesty, and we have to do something about closing those gaps, because more and more Māori students under the last government, I'm sorry, Willie, were not getting NCEA and not even having the opportunity to get to university. That's what we should be talking about. That's what I'm focused on.
Willie, I'm sure you've got a lot to say about this, because they've come out and called it racial segregation. I'm guessing you disagree.
Well, I'm glad Erica, look, I don't disagree with a lot of what Erica's just said, but the reality is you got a couple of idiots here, all right? You got Seymour and Winston, they're trying to sidetrack a racial segregation apartheid. What a load of nonsense. As Erica said, this has been in place for the last 35 years. You know, they so want to get off themselves. Winston's been embarrassing himself. The students are attacking Seymour, and now they're going down this idiot route, this has been part and parcel of the universities. If Fessel Collins set up the Pacific Room, Rangi Walker set up the Māori Room.
Did you hear that? But listen to that bit about who set up the Pacific Room if people missed it.
Part and parcel of the universities. If Fessel Collins set up the Pacific Room, Rangi Walker set up the Māori Room. So universities have an obligation to look after minorities, to look after women, to look after Rainbow, to look after Pacifica, to look after Māori. Tell Seymour and Winston, let's get rid of the rooms here then, because we've got a Rainbow room here, we've got a Māori room here, we've got a women's room here, we've got a Pacifica room here. Absolute rubbish from these two these two guys are so looking to sidetrack things, and Erica, I should say, I'm sorry.
It's all right. That's a compliment.
Well, yeah, that's right. Well, you take it that way. But Erica rightly points out what the problem is in terms of Māori, and I'm pleased National are not going down this mad route in terms of talking about apartheid, separatism. This is just sidetracking everything, taking the emphasis off them. Last week we had Winston. What was Winston talking about? He was talking about, now today he's talking about the Ku Klux Klan, and last week he's talking about apartheid. Mad stuff coming from these two. Concentrate on what's in front of you.
Finally, just on this thing as well, because don't get it twisted, whānau, we're not giving Luxon a pass, because remember, as we've been saying, probably originally from Bomber for quite a long time, that if Luxon opens the door to Winston Peters and to David Seymour, which he did, then anything that breaks, Luxon is responsible for. So even though he might have somewhat said a sort of right thing around this or not, it doesn't actually matter, because he opened the door for these two to have these conversations. So whatever breaks, he owns, right? And so wherever we sit versus you sit exactly on what you think he should have or did or didn't say, if it's breaking because of those two, he owns it.